We actually founded Iroko in 2010.
Jason and I were friends again. Like, he'd moved back down to London. He was going back and forth to Nigeria, like doing this like DVD, VCD, Nollywood thing. He was back living with his mum, which is like a real, it was tough for him. And then, he then made the move to Nigeria, was doing this like YouTube Nollywood thing. And then he got the $3 million funding from Tiger Global. And he just called me one day and he was like, I want you to quit your job and come and join me at Iroko.
We actually founded Iroko in 2010. So at the time when I started, I was here in sort of Southeast London. I actually travelled for the first time to Lagos in, if I believe I'm right, March, April 2010. I then moved to Nigeria, Lagos in 2010, October, November. And within 6 or 7 months, I'd seen that there were a handful of people who were doing things.
So I quit my job, joined Iroko 3.5, 4 weeks later. 10 days later, I was living in New York.
Oh, okay.
Setting up the New York office for Iroko. I also did a lot of stuff with Nollywood stars. So did trips, again, more trips to New York. There was like Nigerian Entertainment Awards, took Uche Jumbo there. She was like, we'd sponsored them. I did trips to Soweto, South Africa with Mama G. Did like a lot of kind of consumer stuff that I'd never really done before as well. African tech now is completely different to like 2011, 2012. Like, there was no structure. It was all hands on deck and everyone we were all in it together.
I would definitely say that Iroko was way too early in terms of when it started, in terms of when it was funded, and obviously what's happened over the last decade, sort of post that. Again, if you look at Iroko's first few years, we actually couldn't upload our content directly to YouTube. It was just too expensive and just took too long, right? So in the end, I literally had to put somebody on a plane with a hard drive, fly them to the Google offices. I think it was in Victoria at the time or somewhere like that, and they would essentially have to sort of load it directly from Google's offices. The first time Auntie Funke from Main One heard that, she was like, "Look, that's ridiculous. We have capacity. Let's figure something out." And she gave us a really great discount to enable us to start actually building from within Lagos and Nigeria, right? So I think first and foremost, obviously, the main ones of the world were really important in terms of creating that connectivity. I think obviously what was most important in terms of creating that groundswell of excitement around building companies definitely was the likes of Shinovik at the time, the likes of Tiger Global made a handful of investments. Again, you look at Intel Capital, you look at I think it was ACA were making investments then. So there was a bunch of private equity stroke early emerging market VCs who started to really create that opportunity for people locally. I think actually probably the biggest impact definitely was Rocket Internet. They came and just dumped a huge amount of money into Nigeria, right, into the ecosystem. Hired thousands of people, although most of their business models didn't work and were largely kind of wonky and distorted. They still poured a lot of money into the infrastructure, and I think they definitely supported and opened the eyes up to a lot of people that you could build companies out of and within Nigeria.